Again, hi everyone, and thanks for joining us today for our first live webinar. We are very excited to spend the next 45 minutes with you talking about a very interesting topic, how to build an audience-focused social strategy and how we can help your business grow. We really want to emphasize the importance of this topic to your business if you're looking to invest in social media. If you want social media to really work for your business, you must firstly understand the needs, wants, and habits of your audience. Before we start, here are a few housekeeping rules. Please close any app using your Wi-Fi network to reduce the chance of buffering. The chat option is open throughout the webinar, so you may submit any questions you have as we go through. We will also answer all these questions at the end. Join us and your peers on Twitter and LinkedIn using the hashtag Neo7Webinar. Our agenda today is as follows. We will start with some general introductions and a bit about us. We'll then touch upon the basics of what social media marketing is. Then we'll jump straight into how to build an audience-focused social media strategy based around your business goals and show a few examples. After, we'll talk about how we can support you with developing your strategy and provide a link for a free content calendar template. We will end with the webinar with a live Q&A to answer any questions you may have. Okay, let's start with some introductions. Here at Neo7, we think of ourselves as storytellers, social media marketers, content creators, strategy developers, and implementers. I'm Orlando, Managing Director here at Neo7. But before I started my journey here, I spent the last 15 years heading up branding and marketing functions for different SMEs across UK and Europe. I'm also joined here today by my colleague, Gemma.
Hi, I'm Gemma, Neo7 Social Media and Communications Specialist. I run the communication, social media management, and advertising for our clients here at Neo7.
Thanks, Gemma. Okay, let's jump in and challenge our understanding of what social media marketing is and why businesses should invest time and money into it. Despite what some may think, it is more than just sharing selfies, pictures, and videos of your food. It may have started there, but over time, it's become a tool that we as business people can use to our advantage. Businesses now have their own profiles and pages, interacting directly with their customers using text, video, imagery, GIFs, music, and graphics. You can reach your customers and potential customers organically posting content directly to your channel without spending on ads. You can also use paid advertising to reach and communicate to a more targeted audience who will be more receptive to your messaging. Here are a few general social media marketing goals. To sell your products and services, brand awareness, promote your website, to target and reach your ideal consumer, and to generate leads. However, social media marketing also allows you to do much more than that. It allows businesses to interact with their customers like never before, surpassing the goals just mentioned to achieve the following. Connect with your customers on a personal level. Build a community of customers loyal to your brand. Have meaningful conversations. Present yourself as a source of news and information. Promote your products and services to new audiences you wouldn't normally reach. Target your ideal customer through advertising, and so much more. But the question remains, how do we achieve this? Well, we as marketers and business owners need to understand that the focus of your social media strategy should be your customer, or in marketing terms, your audience.
So your social media audience is made up of the people who found you organically and follow you, as well as people you can reach through targeted advertising. But your ideal audience is made up of the people who you think your ideal customer is. You want to target your social media strategy to your ideal audience, as these are the people who you want to buy your product or service. So when we talk about an audience-focused social media strategy, we're talking about a carefully considered plan that's created to target your ideal customer. If your social media strategy does not do this, you'll fail to effectively attract the people who are most likely to buy from you and become brand advocates. So where would you find your ideal audience? There are so many different channels and there are always new ones popping up. Let's take a look at the most popular channels and what they're best used for by businesses all over the world. Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat are great for brand awareness, engagement, and as an advertising platform. Twitter and LinkedIn are useful for business development, sharing industry information, brand loyalty, and building relationships. YouTube is the most used channel for entertainment and knowledge sharing, as well as brand awareness. It's actually also the second largest search engine globally, with really good advertising success rates. Pinterest is mostly for creative inspiration, telling stories, and visual advertising. And finally, TikTok is great for promotion to niche communities and building brand trust. How do you know which channels are right for your business and will generate the best return on investment? And how do you know which channels your audience is actually on? We'll help you find the answers to these questions in the next section.
This leads us nicely onto building the strategy itself. And the first step is to understand your business objectives. We can then use this information to create your social media goals to help you meet these objectives. For example, if you want to increase website sales, your social media goal will be to drive traffic to your website using promotional social media posts. Once you have identified your social media goals, you need to create KPIs that are SMART: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely. Okay, let's go back to our previous example. One of your social media goals is driving traffic to your website. This goal would be measured with a KPI using the following metrics: click-through rates to a specific landing page or pages on your site, the number of users on your site who have come from social channels, sales as a result of a social post or ad. By setting KPIs like these and using the right metrics, you will have the necessary insights to inform you of how well your social media strategy is performing. You can set your social media goals on a monthly, quarterly, or yearly basis, but we highly recommend setting them on a monthly basis so the data is easier to measure and you can quickly assess and adjust your strategy if necessary.
The next step in the process is identifying who your ideal audience are. To do this, you need to establish your buyer personas. This is a general idea of who your typical buyer is or who you would like them to be. To establish a buyer persona, you need to look at information like their consumer habits, which social channels they like best, preferred types of content, demographics, hobbies, job status, and shopping preferences. To find out this information, you can use social monitoring and listening tools like Hootsuite and TweetDeck, which we'll go more into a bit later. Buyer personas help you to understand your customers and prospective customers better and allow you to tailor your social media content to their specific wants, needs, and behaviours. Let's use one of Neo7's buyer personas as an example. Meet Samantha, a woman in her early 40s. She's the owner of a retail company with an online shop. She lives in London and earns in excess of 30k per year. Samantha is bubbly and business savvy, but needs help managing her social media. She mainly uses Facebook and Instagram personally, and LinkedIn and Twitter professionally. She wants to grow her business and increase online revenue, but she has a small staff and a small budget. What would we offer to help? We would take social media off of her hands and give her more time to focus on the business side of her job, using social media to increase her online sales through advertising and reach new audiences. With this information, we now know where to target content towards her online, what type of educational content she might find useful, which locations to target for advertising, which of our services to offer, and much more. Once you create a few of these, it's easier to understand which details to focus on when tailoring your social media content to your ideal audience. They can be as detailed and in-depth as you choose, but the more you research, the more you increase your chances of attracting your ideal customer, engaging with them, and converting them into sales. The rate of return on your overall social media spend will also increase, because you won't be wasting resources on consumers who are less likely to buy from you. By the way, it's important to remember that these are fictional, generalized personas. Make sure you're basing these off of real customers and altering them depending on the ever-changing habits of your audience.
To remain relevant and competitive in the current market, it's very important for you to conduct an in-depth competitor analysis and industry research. You need to see exactly what other people in your industry are doing on social media, establishing precisely who your direct competitors are and how they present and position themselves online. You want to take note of the kind of content being posted, their messaging, when they post, how much engagement they receive, and what people are saying about them. Once you have this information, you will be well equipped to create a more relevant and engaging content to better position your brand and stand out from the crowd. Remember, your aim is to help your customers fulfill their needs better than the competition. So focus on how you can communicate this to them clearly, consistently, and on brand. The next step is conducting a social media audit. This is taking a deep dive into your existing channels to understand what's working and what's not, to evaluate channel performance, identify the best and worst performing posts, ensure each account is complete and on brand. With over 3 billion users globally and so many social media channels, it's important to ensure that you're using the ones best suited for your business and your target audience. So the first step of your audit is to look into which channels you're using and how they're performing. If you notice that your ideal customer is on LinkedIn and not Pinterest, that's fine, because part of your audit is to identify where you can improve, readjust, and if necessary, refocus your attention. Ideally, you only need a social media presence on channels where your audiences are. If they're not there, then why waste time, money, and resources creating and pushing out content elsewhere? From your audit, you can also determine the content preferences of your ideal customer, looking at which of the posts have done well in the past and which haven't. You can even go deeper and get a more complete picture of your social performance, examining metrics such as followers, engagement, click-through rate, average number of video views, and post reach and impressions. Always remember to check that your content is aligned with your brand guidelines and that there is consistency and quality control across all your channels. Now, at this point, you have gathered a lot of data. You have your goals and KPIs, target audience details from your buyer personas, industry report, competitor analysis, and the results of your social media audit. So what do you actually know? You know exactly who you are targeting, the kind of content they like, who your direct competitors are, what they are posting, and what you need to do to improve on your social media performance. Now that we have this information, we can use it to create a content strategy. Here are a few different types of content that would be used: text, photo, video, GIFs, graphics, and music. This would then be put into categories including educational, promotional, and entertainment. Within these, you can also have user-generated content, which is content created by your audience, as well as content from influencers. And finally, all of the above can be posted organically or through paid advertising. Look at your goals and KPIs, see what you need to achieve, then look at which types of content are the most attractive to your ideal customer and plan your posts accordingly. It's a great idea to identify your key content pillars. This will also help with your planning and writing the messaging for your posts. Okay, let me give you an example. The key pillars for our client Chinella Villas over in Tuscany are Tuscan food and wine, holiday tips, promoting bookings, fun facts about Tuscany, and aesthetic pictures, stories, and quotes about the resort and general area. Now, since using these pillars to organize their content, we have increased their website traffic by 92%, expanded their reach to over 11 countries, seen a 73% increase in direct sales, and doubled their revenue from 2 years prior. So once you have established your pillars to help create your posts, the next step is to add them to a content calendar, which allows you to organize all of your content ideas and ensure you're aligning them correctly to your goals and pillars. At the end of the webinar, we'll be sending out a link for you to download the Neo 7 content calendar to help you with your planning. For organic posts, you can use scheduling tools such as Hootsuite and Sprout Social to get these posted. However, for paid advertising, this needs to be done directly on your preferred social channels.
We really recommend including paid advertising in your content plan, as its role and importance in social media marketing is increasing at a really rapid rate. Some of the key benefits are it's an effective and low-cost way to reach new customers who are already online. You can target ads to your ideal audiences. There are a variety of ad formats to choose from, and you are directly investing in efforts to drive your leads and sales. Another thing to note is that some social networks have developed algorithms designed to prevent your organic posts from reaching users if they promote your business. Facebook specifically, who also own Instagram, they only show your organic posts to less than 3% of your followers, and this only increases if the posts receive a high level of engagement. In addition to this, if your post has promotional language like sign up, share, or click here, and encourages followers to leave Facebook to an external website such as your own, it further reduces the number of users who can see the post. This has been done by Facebook to increase the amount of money that businesses have to pay to see successful results from selling on social media. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't put any effort into your organic posts, but it does mean that if you want to see really good results, you need to additionally invest in paid advertising. The good news here is that it really isn't that expensive, and you only get charged depending on how many people see and interact with your post. Here are some quick tips for paid advertising. Align the aim of the ad with your goals. Have a call to action that encourages the correct interaction by the user. Use persuasive language and hooks. Create content for your ad that's attractive to your ideal customer, and use the best channel to target your ideal customer. As long as you follow the above, you're almost guaranteed successful results.
Now, it's common knowledge that consumer habits and behaviours are in constant state of change. Social media is the most consumer-driven platform to date. The widespread and easily accessible information needs that opinions, news cycles, and messaging change on a daily basis. Now, as a result, social media itself is also constantly evolving and changing. Therefore, it's our duty to keep up to date to facilitate that. Social listening and social monitoring are the latest methods that we use to respond to the constant change. What is social monitoring? It is the action of actively looking for mentions and conversations across social media about products, services, brands, employees, competitions, promotions, hashtags, and so on in your industry. Social listening, however, is how you track, analyze, and respond to these conversations. Creating a social media strategy and a content plan is brilliant, but it's actually really important to foresee the fact that you won't be sticking to everything 100%. Instead, you plan as best as you can, but you must leave room to alter your plans and ideas with the knowledge you gain from social monitoring and social listening. Here's another example. Our client Thomas Royal is a luxury men's swimwear brand. When the pandemic first hit and everyone was in lockdown, posting their usual content of models, influencers, and customers in their products on holiday was no longer appropriate. So instead, we conducted some social monitoring and saw the use of the hashtag staycation. We also saw competitors increasing their use of product photos without models. Now, through social listening, we amended our strategy to focus around staycation. We conducted a photo shoot for some of the new product images and made sure that all messaging was appropriate for the context of staying at home. Now, as a result, during lockdown, their impressions went up by 85%, web traffic by 106%, store sessions from social media by 244%, monthly sales by 108%, and revenue by 186% from March. Some other key benefits of social monitoring and listening include measuring the performance of your social media strategy, managing your online reputation, identifying your biggest fans, helping to discover new product ideas and enhancements from customer commentary, monitoring the competition, identifying new business opportunities, and lead generation. Now, this brings us to the final component of your strategy. Analytics is easily the most important part of your social media marketing. Without regularly monitoring your performance, you are completely in the dark about how well your content and strategy is being received. For example, you may think your audience really wants to hear details about where your products come from, when your analytics clearly show that you receive very little engagement on posts about it. Analytics help you to remember that social media content shouldn't be about what you want to post, but about what your audience wants to see. You can track the successes of each post, notice patterns, recognize changes in behavior, and understand the effectiveness of what is working well. Analytics also helps you to prove the value that social media is delivering for your business. It helps to measure your return on investment and justify your spend. It's important to track these by measuring the performance of the KPIs that you set on a monthly basis. Use what you learn to inform any changes to your strategy and content in the following months. Now, always ensure that you are keeping everything you do focused on your audience. Okay, now we have talked for quite a bit and it's a lot of information. You may be suffering from a bit of information overload. Don't worry, we are recording this webinar, so on request, we can send you a copy of the recording and the slides if you need them. Remember, we're also giving a free content calendar template to help you get started. However, if you're thinking, I need a hand in setting this all up, this is where we can help. At Neo7, we offer bespoke social media management and paid advertising packages that can be tailored to your budget, needs, and goals. As demonstrated by our examples with Thomas Royal and Chanella, our methods are proving to bring success for our clients, continuously hitting KPIs, helping them bring more revenue and ultimately growing their business. Before I do that, I hope you found the webinar informative and useful. And I look forward to talking to some of you a bit more, maybe over a coffee. Please look out for more upcoming webinars and the launch of our video series, Conversations with Neo7. Again, thanks everyone for joining today.